Hi, this is Bill Koenig for Straight Circle Martial Arts, and these are 10 hand strikes. Number one, fist. Everybody knows a fist, but where people make mistakes with this often is they're too tight in the hand. So if you actually just play around with this and you start pushing your hand like this, right? And you bring your thumb down, and you bring it up, then you bring it up, and you bring it up. Every time you place your hand, you'll feel tension in a different spot. The more tension you have, the slower your hand is. It may be strong and solid, but it doesn't move quickly. So for me, what I find is the thumb goes where it's comfortable for your finger. Like I have a shorter, fatter thumb. So for me, I like to place my thumb there because it fits properly. But I know a lot of people that have longer thumbs, and often it's maybe better there. The higher up in the fist you are, the less tension you'll have throughout your entire arm. Also, most people when they punch, they clench. And when you clench, think about it, energy comes this way and comes back to you. So when they hit, they clench, and the energy stops. You have to learn to take that fist and expand the fist into them. That way the energy travels into them. Number 9, chicken wrist. We all know this one, right? So you see all these wonderful forms, and people try and emulate them, and they try and fight like this, and that's silliness. That's not what they're there for. A lot of people do them like this. My personal opinion, just fooling around with them, I like to throw the thumb. Like when I throw this, like if you feel this, like I want to throw this at him. There's a like that to it. So there's a boom like that. So I actually throw the thumb. When I use this, I wouldn't start with this and try and do this. It's insanity. But what happens a lot of times is someone pushes on you, right? And then you slip off. And that's when that thing becomes applicable. It's more like it's an accident almost. It only happens when they hit me. The only other time I use that is maybe if I got slipped inside and I just needed something short to whack them with. It's an interesting strike, but it's only used in limited situations. Don't base your whole life around it. Number 8, spear hand. Same idea, right? Everyone goes like this, and they clench for dear life. When you clench, this tightens this, and you cannot get extension, nor can you get speed off it. So what you really want to learn to do is play with the fingers so that what you get is just tension in little parts of your body, but enough heaviness to where even if I go like this and I push him, right, I have some strength behind it. I want to have enough strength in the fingers to move him, but not from like a tension where I have to hold it like this. It should just be like that, right? Just right into the point and short. The less you tense, the more speed you'll have, the more accurate it is. One other thing with that too, again, we all learn, katas where we go, wah, and then we go, wah. That's in nuts too. He's like this, right there. It's a very short, right to the point, whether it's the eyes or the neck. I don't care where it is, but it's just, if you come from way back here, by the time you actually go to the target, it'll have moved and you're never going to hit it. Number 7, the one knuckle with the pointer finger. Same idea, like this, right? I like to put the thumb on it and just click in. Just enough pressure to hold that finger in place. When I use this, again, same thing. This should not be something you wind up for. If you're trying to dig into a small point, there's no way you're going to hit this little point from way back here because inevitably he's going to move somewhere and you're always going to miss it. So when I do this, it's just a very short this, like that, right? Just right where it is. And if you put your weight behind it enough, it'll dig in. You don't need that big wind-up to make that happen. Number 6, one knuckle, Littlefinger. I learned this like this originally, which is a good way to break your hand. If you look at this, right, when you punch, like you should always have alignment. There should never be a bend on this. If you bend like this, you're just asking to break your wrist. So if I'm going like this, and he comes to me, and I hit him like this, what is that going to do? That's going to flex, and I'm going to hurt myself. The way this actually is if you look at the alignment of it, look where it's going off on a 45. So when I throw this shot, it's more of a circle. It's more of a hook type work. My first instructor, he used to use this all the time. He would throw the hand by me, and I'd be looking over here, and he'd pull it back into me this way on the circle. It's a nasty little shot, but you have to find it on the correct angle. Again, if you go like this, you're going to hurt yourself. Please don't do that. Number 5, chop. I hope everyone knows this. I'm just going to throw this pointer out so you don't hurt yourself. Little bone. Break very easy. A lot of people, when they hit, because they don't hit things for real, and they do this in the air, they don't really understand that when they hit something, you have to protect the hand. What happens is there's a flap of muscle here, right? And what I want this muscle to do is I want it to push like this over the bone, so I don't break the bone. So if I come in on just a touch of an angle, this will roll and it will protect the hand. If I come in like this or straight down, it's going to go right past that muscle and right into that bone like that, and you're going to break it. So please be careful with that strike. It's really good maybe you practice on something a little harder on a regular basis so that you actually get a feel for what it feels like. Number 4, straight palm. Going back to tension again. Most people, when they throw something, they rigidly grab and they hit, but you're pulling the energy back to yourself. You're making tension and you're stopping short. When you do this, there should be an expansion. It should blow up. It should go inside them. If he comes to me, when I do this, right, it shouldn't go boom and stop. It should explode. And when you're doing this with your palm, you know, it should open and come into him. And it's less chance of hurting yourself with this than the fist, obviously. So it's okay to be a little looser with this as long as you hit correctly. So make sure when you do this that the expansion comes into them. It doesn't stop and hold ground. Number 3, the cup palm. I really like this one. A lot of people throw palm strikes open hand, or like fingers like this, or like I like to just hold it like this where it's a nice easy cup. The reason for that is it has a lot of different uses. So if he comes to me, right, number 1, it's great to cup an ear. And if you've ever been hit in the ear, and I have, and it rips inside, you'll be able to blow like this and you'll feel warm air go out your ear, and you'll suck it in and you'll feel warm air come in your ear, and you get to spend 8 hours in an emergency room. It's fantastic. But what happens is it makes this suction. That makes that pop, and it rips the ear, right? So it's a nice cup because it makes that cup. But also what it's nice for is I find if I want to hook onto something and I want to stick to something, you hear that sound? There's that wrap to it. So if I don't want to just bounce something away, I can hook or palm onto something, or if I want to cup them, right? I'm going to do it on his shoulders so he doesn't get hurt. There's that, pop. Realistically, you hit him there. And not only do you pull him forward, you rattle him pretty hard. So again, it's just a little bit like this, and it just cups. And when you do it, try and get the sensitivity to it where you feel like you can wrap around and stick to it. It's better than just knocking it away. Number 2, back fist. We all know back fist, right? We all practice this all the time. The problem is we practice on like 3 angles, and then we don't know there's more to it. When you throw a back fist, really what you're really trying to do is you're just trying to take those knuckles and dig them into a hole. So yes, I could go like this. I could also go like this, right? I could come to those angles. I could come in. I could come around. I could come to the back, right? I could come up, right? I could come into the arms, into the pressure type points like this, right? I come into the legs. The more angles you learn to experiment with a back fist, and it's not always just this, right? Try and find the play and the directions and the angles you can throw these on, and they become really whippy and short. And again, you're just trying to take those and stick them into a point. So don't worry about trying to knock them off. It'll be fine. Number one, a thumb. As I mentioned earlier in this, I like to place my thumb like this anyways. The nice thing about this thumb is sometimes maybe I go to throw this punch, right? And the angle's wrong for me and I can't get my fist over. So I just take that thumb and I jam it in, right? A little bit like that. You just take that thumb and you stick it right in that point. It's not a finishing shot, but let me tell you, it jars them enough to get the next one in pretty good. Make sure it's based properly, like it should be flat. Like if you leave it slop, you could hurt your thumb. Just comfortable like that. This has been Bill Koenig for Straight Circle Martial Arts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.